Alright, yo, here we go. This is Decoy Voice. Alright, go follow him. Don't follow me. I don't give a you know? Go follow these guys. They're over here doing the work. I'm just watching YouTube. I don't care. Here we go.
Los Angeles has officially become third world living at first world prices, as early Saturday morning a group of 50 vandals were allowed to take over the streets, not only attacking the trains, but the responding police officers as well.
What was captured on video over the weekend, people targeting stores, metro trains, and police cars with graffiti and vandalism, is just the latest act of chaos that's been going on for months. He says about 15 to 20 underground parties happen every weekend, with police and businesses struggling to keep track.
Not one party promoter, not any person granting access to a space to be used has been held accountable.
LAPD officers were lined up in riot gear, fired rubber bullets.
This is crazy. When I used to play, we used to party hard. We used to do all this crazy shit, but we always respected like the neighbors. We didn't go out of hand. This is crazy. These kids need to get or they never got probably butt whipped by the parents. That's crazy. This is crazy.
After multiple warnings to clear this area, no one was hurt, but several businesses and metro trains were damaged. There were no arrests.
We cannot do this. We cannot do this in our city. And it has to be stopped. We have to be very aggressive about it because we will never send the signal that maybe this is acceptable behavior.
This is coming from the mayor that just sent the signal, you can destroy entire sections of the city and nobody will be arrested, as previously they allowed LA to be destroyed over social justice in other parts of America, and then perceived social injustice in other countries oceans away. But now these idiots don't even need a reason, they're just allowed to take over the city whenever they can get enough of them together, because we saw plenty of riot officers lined up to detain at least a handful of them, but apparently the mayor never gave the green light to actually do it, as the optics of aggressive arrests over what she perceives as property crimes isn't within her liberal policies. As other parts of the state have proven, they can quickly shut down these takeovers by rounding up, arresting anybody, and impounding any car involved. It seems pretty harsh to lose your car, but the alternative is to lose civil society whenever the lawless horde gets bored, as police weakness is becoming a known issue with this city.
Just came home from my son's baseball game tonight to this. We had a break-in in our house. It's not cool, and I'll tell you what else. I was on hold with 911 for 59 minutes. Luckily, the police, when they did show up, came. They were very nice, but they mentioned how undermanned they are, and that's a problem.
And this isn't just a one-off incident. I lived there for over a decade, and in my last years there, I remember seeing a transient knocked out with a syringe in his arm, laying in the street outside my business. I called 911, who connects me to fire, who says they can't respond without the police. But then the police say they need me to personally detain this unconscious person for the police to respond. And when I told them I wasn't willing to do that, PD hung up, fire hung up, and 911 did nothing. And not just LAPD, but even the CHP, when an old Asian man falling asleep on the freeway hit my car and didn't even notice. I called 911 again, and they just told me don't follow him even though he's a risk to everybody else, but just go to the nearest CHP station to file a report. And if you've been watching this channel for long enough, I've told countless stories of LA coppers that at best could care less, and at worst actually seem fearful of the criminals. But as long as crime stats can...
Yeah, but they'll lock you up if there's a lockdown and you're on the beach and nobody's around. Remember that? Jeez. Now we're understaffed.
To decline, they don't care what actually happens to the citizens, as Los Angeles is broke, but the mayor is continuing to cut back on public safety, possibly laying off LAPD civilian employees. As we just saw the effects of this with the wildfires that destroyed the city, where people were wondering why there were so many fire trucks unavailable to fight the fires, but they just cut all the employees that repair those fire trucks amongst several other failures for fire safety. So freezing police hires and laying off non-sworn personnel doesn't mean the police have less to do, it just means taking actual police off the street to complete tasks that should be much cheaper to do. But as long as Mayor Bass can continue her anti-police policies, she could care less on what happens to the actual citizens that will suffer. As back to the wildfires, where Governor Newsom seemed to dance when talking about the damage, with the mayor straight up lying about how fast the residents will be able to rebuild, 4 months later, she's now bragging about a single house, barely starting construction, surrounded by at least 10 empty lots of rubble. As it really seems they're going to use the fires as a land grab.
Every dwelling in Malibu has a separate septic system. And these houses in front, many of them were built in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, and the codes were almost non-existent. And they're going to have to update the septic system, which means Coastal Commission, Ocean, Sierra Club, dig it all out. And because of the proximity of the ocean, they're going to have to build seawalls. So they're going to be several $1 million into stuff that's buried in the ground. Do you know how much bureaucracy, red tape, and permits worth of nightmare this is going to be?
You have the last house standing on Malibu Beach. It was singed by the fires. It was not leveled. Very fortunate for you, obviously. But you're hearing rumblings now that those beaches in Malibu, including your house potentially, may be taken by the government under eminent domain.
Property owners that are trying to get covered, that nobody can understand. Why is nothing being done? Why is the beach not being picked up? Why haven't the bore samplings and environmental stuff been done? Why are only 4 permits been approved in 4 months? And those 4 permits, by the way, Steve, were done before the fires. The talk is now that the state of California is planning to seize the coastline in Malibu.
Between the fires, land grabs, and rampant crime, it almost seems like a coordinated effort to push regular citizens off this prime real estate in LA. And the only thing worse than being forced out of your own community is the fact that they're using your tax dollars to do it. Why doom scroll on social media all day when you have my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality? So subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Yep. Alright guys, let's go to subscribe to Decoy Voice. He's a good one out there. He's over here in California. I think Los Angeles as well too. So go subscribe. Don't pay attention to me. I'm just watching this stuff. Alright.